Chapter 1. The Hollowing, Tuesday 3:47 p.m. The Tuesday Sarah erased us began with spreadsheet-level normalcy. Alarm, shower, oatmeal. A mumbled love you to Ethan's closed door as he coded before dawn. My world ran on direct debits and color-coded calendars. Stability wasn't just preference, it was penance for my own chaotic childhood. Sarah used to find it endearing. "My solid oak David," she'd purr in the early years, tracing the worry lines already etching my forehead. Lately it was "God David, live a little," usually followed by the slam of her Audi TT, a midlife crisis on lease payments I covered. We met in Art History 301. Me, the awkward econ grad auditing lectures to glimpse her. Sarah Davenport. All swirling skirts, reckless laughter, and opinions on Caravaggio's chiaroscuro that could level buildings. I was flattered she noticed me, mistook turbulence for passion. 15 years later, the passion had curdled into Sarah's restless sighs and my desperate attempts to budget us into tranquility. Our son, Ethan, was the only masterpiece we'd created together. A quiet, unnervingly observant boy whose intelligence hummed like a hidden reactor. I discovered the erasure at 3:47 p.m. Precisely. I'd logged into the custodial college fund account. Ethan's future do not touch. To admire the $187,563.42, the product of a decade of ramen dinners, skipped vacations, and my soul-crushing job as a mid-level accountant. The screen blinked. $1,237.89. A cold, greasy nausea flooded me. Transfer error. I checked Sarah's linked savings. $0. Her credit line? Maxed. Our joint checking. $42.16. The meticulously planned future, pixelated into nothingness. Her walk-in closet was a gaping wound. Half-empty hangers mocked me. Her vanity, stripped of La Mer jars and the ridiculously expensive jasmine perfume I'd saved 3 months to buy her last birthday. No note. Just digital dust and the ghost of jasmine, now smelling like embalming fluid. My legs buckled. I slid down the wall onto the cold hardwood, back against the bed where we'd stopped touching months ago. Devastated? Too active. I was an abandoned building. Wind whistled through the empty spaces where trust, security, and 20 years of shared history used to live. I stared at the ceiling, willing the universe to Ctrl+Alt+Delete this nightmare. Just cease. The front door clicked at 5:18 p.m. Ethan's measured footsteps. "Dad?" His voice, always preternaturally calm, cut the silence. He appeared in the doorway, messenger bag heavy with textbooks, gaze sweeping the scene, the hollow closet, the laptop glowing its digital death knell on the floor. Me, a broken puppet slumped against the bed. He didn't flinch, didn't gasp. His storm gray eyes, inherited from Sarah but infinitely colder, flickered from the closet to the laptop screen, then locked onto my face. He saw the raw, stupid vacancy. The utter desolation of a man realizing his life's ledger had been cooked. Then it happened. A slow, knowing smirk uncurled on his 15-year-old face. Not cruel, not angry, tectonic, like continents grinding beneath a still ocean. He dropped his bag with a soft thump. "Don't worry, Dad," he stated, voice flat, devoid of tremor. It was the tone of someone confirming gravity still works. "I'll take care of it." The absurdity. My genius son offering reassurance while wearing the faint smile of a chess master spotting checkmate, short-circuited my grief. All that emerged was a choked rasp. "Ethan, the fund, she took everything." "I know," he replied, pulling his sleek, self-built laptop from his bag. "It's handled." He walked past the wreckage of my life, into his room, and closed the door with a soft, definitive click, leaving me marinating in the hollow silence. Handled? What the actual hell? Chapter 2. The Architect. Wednesday, 11:03 a.m. The next 24 hours were a montage of bureaucratic hell. Police reports met with sympathetic shrugs. "Joint account holder, sir. Civil matter." Bank managers offered sterile condolences. Irreversible transfers initiated by an authorized user. Colleagues' pitying glances felt like physical blows. My carefully constructed life was a joke. A dark joke. My wife ran off with Maximilian Vance Disruptor Capital. Real name, Barry from Toledo. Briefly rich off crypto. funding their escape with my son's future. The irony tasted like battery acid. I kept expecting a laugh track. Ethan was a ghost of efficiency. He made Kraft dinner, the radioactive orange kind, our shared guilty pleasure. He deflected concerned aunts with terrifyingly smooth lies. Mom needed space. Dad's resilient. We're optimizing. His calm was unnerving. Where was the shattered kid? The rage? I found him at the kitchen table, code cascading down his screen like a digital waterfall. Ethan, I rasped, clutching lukewarm coffee. Son, it's catastrophic. What she did. He didn't look up. It's grand larceny, Dad. Statutory threshold, $1,000 in our state. Breach of fiduciary duty concerning a minor's assets. His voice was detached, analytical. She didn't just abandon you. She stole from me, my trajectory. He tapped a key. A complex financial dashboard flickered. Her exit strategy had critical vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities? My throat felt like sandpaper. Me, he said simply, that unnerving calm. She forgot who configured her biometric phone security last Christmas. Who maintains the home network she synced her cloud storage to? Who? A ghost of the smirk returned, built a little monitoring script after she kept forgetting to transfer her share of the utilities. He sipped orange soda. Backdoors, Dad. Always implement backdoors. Ice crystallized in my veins. Ethan, what did you do? My phone screamed. Not a ringtone. A primal shriek digitized. Sarah. The name pulsed like a raw nerve. I fumbled, nearly dropping it. Hello? What erupted wasn't language. It was raw, animal terror. Shrieking, guttural sobs, punctuated by curses that would make a docker blush. Gone! All gone, you monster! How? Algorithms? What fucking algorithms? Max's accounts. Frozen, liquidated, reversed. The IRS. They're screaming tax evasion. Audit! His Ferrari, repossessed. David! Make him stop! Make that little psycho undo it! He's ruined us, please! My eyes snapped to Ethan. He leaned back, steepling his fingers. The picture of serene, terrifying anticipation. The money! My money! Sarah wailed, dissolving into incoherent sobs. His money, it's just poof! Vanished into the fucking matrix! Max is hysterical! His partners are suing David! Please! I lowered the phone, Sarah's digital hysteria echoing in the suddenly silent kitchen. Ethan didn't blink. Sociopath! He mused, echoing her scream. He closed his laptop with a soft snick. She leveraged your predictability, your patterns. Patterns are exploitable code. He met my gaze, his own icy clear. She shouldn't have taken what was mine. Especially, he added, almost casually, when she left her digital skeleton keys lying around.
Chapter 3. The Reckoning, Friday, 4:22 p.m. They slunk back like whipped dogs 3 days later. Not in Barry Maximilian's repossessed Ferrari, but a dented Uber. Sarah practically fell onto the weed-choked path. The artful runaway goddess look was replaced with rumpled, shoplifted-looking sweats. Her face was a mask of streaked mascara and raw panic. She looked like she'd aged a decade in 3 days. Barry Maximilian emerged from the Uber like a man exiting a tumbril. His disruptor blazer was stained, his hair greasy, his expression pure, cringing mortification. He couldn't look at me, staring fixedly at his scuffed, once pristine white sneakers. Sarah stumbled towards the porch. I stood frozen, a spectator in my own ruin. Ethan was a silent shadow behind the living room blinds. David! Her voice was a cracked shriek. Oh God, David! Mistake! Colossal cosmic mistake! Temporary insanity! Barry! Max! He pressured me, said you were stifling, that Ethan was practically grown, that we deserved more. She choked, seeing the disbelief twist my face. Okay, fine. It was me. I was selfish, an idiot. But David, the money, what he did... Raw terror flared. He didn't just reverse it, he amplified it. Algorithmic trades, margin calls, tax flags triggered retroactively. Barry's bankrupt. Lawyers want my kidneys. We're destitute. She clutched my arm, her nails digging. Please, take me back. Forgive me. We'll fix it. Family therapy, anything. Ethan needs his mother. The audacity was breathtaking, the sheer, flailing desperation. My hollow core didn't stir with pity. It flooded with viscous, cold contempt. Forgiveness? After she called my son a psycho? After she sold his future for this whimpering fraud? I opened my mouth, maybe to unleash a decade of suppressed rage, Maybe to laugh that dark, choking laugh bubbling in my chest. Maybe just to whisper, "Get off my property." The front door opened silently. Ethan stepped onto the porch. No drama, just presence. Hoodie, jeans, the same as always. But his storm gray eyes held the absolute zero of deep space. They locked onto Sarah, not me. Sarah recoiled as if zapped. "Ethan! Sweetheart! Thank God!" She lurched towards him, arms outstretched in a parody of maternal embrace. "Please, baby, tell him, tell Dad it was a glitch, that you'll undo it, that you forgive Mommy, please." Ethan didn't move, didn't acknowledge the mommy. He was a statue carved from obsidian and cold logic. The smirk was gone, replaced by a terrifying crystalline clarity. He seemed smaller than her, yet he dominated the space, the light itself bending around his stillness. He didn't raise his voice. It was calm, precise, a scalpel slicing through her hysterical fog. He looked directly into her dilated, panic-stricken eyes. "You already made your choice." The words hung. Simple. Devastating. A guillotine held aloft. Sarah froze. Her mouth hung slack. The frantic energy drained from her like blood from a wound. Barry shuffled nervously, a trapped animal scenting the kill. Ethan delivered the final cut. His voice remained level, carrying in the sudden, absolute silence. "Now, live with it." The quiet wasn't just silence. It was annihilation. It swallowed Sarah's pleas, her excuses, her very breath. Her eyes widened, not with anger, but with dawning, absolute horror. It wasn't just the money, not just David. It was him. The son she'd dismissed as part of the predictable furniture. The quiet boy whose loyalty she'd assumed was infinite, whose intellect she'd fatally underestimated. She saw the wall in his gaze, impenetrable, final. She saw the fierce, terrifying loyalty she'd incinerated. Loyalty that hadn't shattered, but had fused into a weapon of pure calculated consequence. She saw the future she'd chosen. Not freedom and Ferraris, but scorched earth, Barry's bankrupt shame, and the yawning abyss of her son's utter rejection. Her reflection in his eyes was small, foolish, irrevocably alone. Every lie died unspoken. Every plea withered. Her jaw worked, producing only a dry, clicking sound. The color fled her face, leaving paper-white terror. She stared at Ethan, not as her child, but as her executioner. The sheer, unforgiving finality of his words, their absolute moral clarity, hit her with the force of a collapsing star. She understood. The cost of her fantasy wasn't just financial. It was paid in the currency of her son, and that account was permanently, terminally closed. She didn't look at me, didn't spare Barry a glance. She turned, a marionette with cut strings, and stumbled blindly back to the waiting Uber. Barry scrambled in after her, slamming the door like sealing a tomb. The car peeled away, leaving only tire marks and the scent of cheap exhaust. I looked at Ethan. He met my gaze. The glacial depth in his eyes softened, just a fraction. Exhaustion etched lines I'd never seen before on his young face. There was no triumph, just a profound, weary question. I put a hand on his shoulder, solid, real. The only anchor in a world permanently tilted. "Craft dinner?" I asked, my voice rough but steady. A flicker of something like relief touched his eyes. He managed a small, exhausted nod. "Yeah, Dad. Craft dinner." We went inside. The porch was empty. The silence remained, but it was different now. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of consequence. The silence of a door slammed shut. The silence of a choice lived with. As the neon orange noodles boiled, a darkly humorous thought flickered through the hollowed-out space. Who needs a college fund when your 15-year-old can weaponize financial algorithms in IRS code? The future, it seemed, wouldn't be predictable. But it might just be ours. And Ethan? He wasn't just my son anymore. He was the architect. And I had a feeling his blueprints were only just beginning.